Dear students, welcome back. I am your assistant teacher, Mayur. So students, as you know, we are discussing the fourth chapter of history. The name of the chapter is Tribals, Deepus and the Reason of Golden Age. So students, in this chapter we have already discussed about the lifestyle of these tribal communities, where we discussed that some of the people they opt for the jooming or the shifting cultivation. Some of the people they were busy in herding or the rearing, and some of the people they were busy in hunting or the gathering. So students, then we have discussed the impact brought by these Britishers or the company people. First, it was affected the tribal chief. Then it affected, how was it effect on shifting cultivators, and then we discussed that forest law and its impact. So now we will discuss the problem with the trade. What was the problem? That because of this company people and the changes they brought, so what was its impact and what was the problem with the trade? See, they used to do the trades with the traders and the moneylenders. Who are these people? They were traders and the moneylenders. How they used to do the trade? See, they came to tribal area for purchasing, for taking the product, the valuable product, okay, and they wanted to buy for forest produce, and for this, for when they take the forest product, they used to give the money to them, okay, and offering the loans that they can take 50 rupees, 100 rupees or 200 rupees for the loan, and they can give that later on. So like this they used to give the loans to these tribal people, and they asked them to do work for wages. See, as they used to give the loans, so in turn they sometime they used to take the forest produce, and sometimes they asked them to do work for wages. There is a case considered about the silk grower. The 18th century, in a European market, as the silk it was in great in demand, okay, and it was demanded in all over the world. So the traders or the moneylender they used to come to the place where the tribal group used to grow the silk, okay, and they used to export it in all over the world, and they encourage the silk production. In this, they encourage the silk production so that they can gain more and more profit. Because see, they are taking the silk or the cocoons at a very low prices and they are selling it at very high prices, means 5 times more than they are taking from the cultivators, okay. And the moneylenders and these traders, how they increase the silk production? By offering them the loan or by buying them the produce, the forest produce. And this is the case of the Hazaribagh. The Hazaribagh, which is in present, it is in Jharkhand, where the Santhals, the tribal communities, they used to rear the cocoons, okay, and later on it was sold out in a Burdwan or the Gaya. 5 times they were taken from the cultivators, okay. So the traders sent their agent, as see, they were the Santhals, they were taking the cocoons from the Santhals, and later on they were selling it to the Burdwan or the Gaya. Here the traders they play a vital important role, because the traders they send their agent there so that they can collect the cocoons from them, or for 1 rupees or the 2 rupees they used to buy so many, means 200, 300 or the 1000 of the cocoons. So how they used to do this? They used to get the advance loan, okay, and they used to take many of the cocoons. So what was the problem in this? So the problem was, as they used to take the product, these cocoons, at a very low price, and they used to sell them at a very high prices, where the middleman he plays plays a vital important role because he made a deal between the Britishers or the cultivators. So in this way, the middleman who is gaining a lot of profit. So the market and the traders enemies, as these tribal people, they come to know that these people, these traders, these money lenders or the market, they all were exploiting. They are not getting the price that they used to get. They must get, but they were getting a very less price. So they consider the market or the traders as their enemies, and later on they did a revolt against them. So students, just we have discussed about the problem with the trade, where these Britishers, they were exploiting the tribal communities as they were buying the product in a very cheap prices for 1 or 2 rupees, and they were selling the same product in a European market in a very high prices like 5 rupees or the 6 rupees. In this way, they were selling the product 5 or 6 more than they were collecting from the producers. As these tribal groups, they came to know that they were exploiting them, so they took a stringent action against them. So what happened when they were searching for a work? First question is that why they were searching for a work? Now you will ask me that, ma'am, first you were telling me that these tribal group, they were living a very good life, as they were some of the people, they practiced that human cultivation. Some of the people, they were busy in herding or rearing of the animals, some were busy in gathering of the hunting of the animals. So why they were searching for the work? Why there is a need of searching of the work? See, as I've told you, the forest law, when the Britishers, they came with the forest law as the change, what was the change that they came with that no tribal groups, no community were allowed to come to the forest to roam freely. They cannot rear animals there, they cannot collect food from there. So in this way, they came with the policies, and later on they allowed the Jumi cultivators to do they gave them a patch of land for the agriculture, but in turn they asked for the laborers, the cheap laborers. So in this way, the policies they came with, it is not liked by the tribal groups. So they started displacing from one land to another. Okay, and as they displaced from one land to another, so the condition became worse. And their condition was worse. It is because, see, as they came out to search for the work near to their place where they were living, but when they were not getting the work, the place they were living in, so they moved to the other place, other reason, like they were living in a northern western places. So for searching of the work, they used to go the southern places. So what will happen? They need to find a house also to live in, and the work to get a job so that they can get a food to eat. So students, they left home in search of the job. So what are the industries? The important industries for that time was the tea plantation and the mine. The tea plantation, it was in the Assam, and the coal mining, it was in Jharkhand. So people, these tribal were recruited in a large number of work. They were recruited in large number of work, means like tea plantation or the mining, because the Britishers, they were in need of a cheap workers, and the tribal groups, as they were in need, that they need to do something for the food. Okay, so they were recruited by the contractors, and these contractors, as they used to take money from the money lenders or the Britishers, and then they give to the workers like these tribals do. So in this way the contractors, see, if they were getting the 10 rupees of any of the work or any of the worker, so they used to give the 5 rupees to the workers. So in this way we can say they were miserably low wages. They used to give the miserably low wages, and also these contractors, their duty was there to prevent them from returning home. See, if they will return to their home, so there might be a possibility, the probability is there, they might not return. So they did not allow them to return to their home. So in this way we have discussed that first this tribal group, they used to live a very good life. Then later on the law changes, the law and policies brought by these Britishers, and later on they were displaced. And then the last was a revolt. So students, now we will discuss about the story of Birsa Munda. So students, let's discuss about the Birsa Munda. In the introduction of the chapter, we have discussed that the Birsa Munda, as the people used to call him God because of his miraculous power, and also we have discussed about that he said himself that he has appointed by a God to serve the people. So students, the Birsa Munda, he was born in mid-1870s. His father was very poor and he grew up in the forest of Boanda, grazing sheep, playing with flute and dancing in a local akhada. And also his father used to move from place to place, from one land to another, because they were very poor, so they used to move from one land to another for searching of the work or for searching of the food. And the Birsa Munda, as he heard about the many tales of the Birsa's uprising community, and also he heard that the Sardar who used to urge the people for the revolt, because they say that if they will revolt, then their golden times will come, and when their golden times will come, when they will free from the Dikus, means the outsider. So students, let's discuss more about the Birsa Munda.